Okay, so a quick video today about not sitting your hips back at the start of your squat. So to demonstrate of what I mean by this is, you're in the squat position, we're here, and before people come down, they'll do this with their hips. They in this position, and then they come down for their squat. Now, we don't want to do this. Basically, what the problem I see that happens is put the hips back like this, so some of our mass is now behind the midfoot. Well, this is my theory anyway. Some of our mass is behind the midfoot. Okay, we're in this position. So then if you've got mass and your knees as well, back like this, particularly the knees, because they're back like this, as you come down, generally what you'll see is that the knees are going to shove forward too much. Okay, so from here to here, your knees are going to shove forward by some amount. All right, you're obviously bending your knees, and these have to go forward by some amount. We don't want them to excessively go too much forward, and we don't want too much of our mass to go too much forward over our middle of our feet, because now our center of mass goes forward, we lose some of the balance forward, so some of our center of mass, including the bar and our body, shifts forward, so we get horizontal deviation. All right, we don't want horizontal deviation because our mass should be moving up in a straight up and down line over the middle of our feet, because gravity only works up and down. Anytime our center of mass moves forward and backwards or horizontal, that's energy wasted, because you were trying to, if the weight is going forward, now you're wasting energy trying to pull it back so you don't lose balance, because if the mass continues to go forward, well then you fall over and you die, and we don't want that. So anytime a mass moves forward or backward, or forward and backwards, it is wasted energy, which is not contributing to moving a mass up and down. So getting back to the main point I was saying, because I went on a bit of a side tangent, if you go back like this and you put your mass behind your base of support, generally what happens, the knees go forward too much, okay? And then what you'll see sometimes is this hip shoot up, and then you come up like that. If you don't see the hip shoot up, sometimes you'll see the bar just goes forward too much. I'll see if I can recreate it. So goes like this, comes forward, and then sometimes it's just the weight's forward. Actually, my hips are still going to shoot back. Okay? But basically the point I'm getting at is, if your hips sit the hips too far back, generally you're going to get the opposite outcome, that everything is going to pendulum forward, and then it's going to have to recover back before it comes back up. I guess maybe I'll do some like exaggerated shitty reps of what this will look like, and just to prove my point, if you start like this with the like that, and then you come down, or if there is other people that you know, you'll see them in the gym. If you go on Instagram, especially powerlifters, not every powerlifter does it, just some. If you notice that someone does that, pay attention to what I said about the knees coming too far forward, or the bar shifting forward, and that weight just going backwards and then back up. You'll tend to see that pattern for most people. Not all, but the majority of people I see with the hips shoot back, that's the problem that I see. So, it kind of looks like back like this, and it'll come forward. Alright, and it kind of turns into a bit of a good morning squat. Like this, then it goes forward too much. Look at my knees relative to my toes. They're too far over my toes. We don't want to be here, because a lot of my weight is shifted into my toes now, not in my midfoot. Alright? I want to be here, not here. Okay? Now I understand probably why people do it, because in the low bar squat, you generally want your chest to be facing down somewhere here so your hips can shove back. So what people probably do is they go like this in order to get their chest in the position that they want to be in, because then the idea is from here, you can just come straight down and then up. If you really think of it, like if you really wanted to start like that to get this chest position and come down, you probably could if you were consciously thinking of where's my knee position, am I keeping that bar over my midfoot, and you will avoid that problem of going too far forward. But as I said, most people probably don't even realize that they're going too far forward. You can do that, but the problem is as well, if I'm starting like this now, well, I've just created a moment or a torque at my hip and my lower back. So I'm wasting energy just staying in this position, because now my muscles of, especially my lower back, they're going to be working because the load is ahead. So I'm wasting energy staying here. What's going to be a more energy conserving position? Being like this or being here? Okay, it's like holding a weight plate. What's easier to hold? A weight plate out here or keeping it close to your body? We want to keep the load stacked over our joints, because that's going to be the easiest way or the most energy efficient way to hold our bar on our back. So go like this, that's wasting energy as well. So yes, you might be able to start like this, not let the knees come forward and come straight down, but even if you do have a great squat, you're still wasting energy because of the points that I just said. So again, I can see why people may do it to get the chest angle to go down. However, you do not need to, because you will be able to break at the knees and the hips at the same time and get your hips down and get your chest down to the position that you need, all in one movement. So that is how a squat should look like. Your chest, your hips and knees should break at the same time, okay? And the chest angle is going to go down. So watch my chest and my hips and knees. It's going to all break at the same time, and my chest will be pointing down to the position that we want. So I'm able to get to this position. My chest is still pointing down there. I did not have to do this to get my chest into this angle, okay? My chest automatically about here. My chest is in the angle already. I did not need to do this movement to get my chest in that angle. It happens automatically. So, yes, it is possible to not sit the hips back, break at your hips and your knees at the same time to get your chest angle to go towards the floor. It will take a little bit of practice. When I'm squatting, I'm not really thinking of anything with my hips. I'm thinking hips down, okay? The end goal, if you focus on the end goal, generally the little movements that can get you to that end goal sort themselves out. If we focus on the end goal of the chest going down towards the floor, so if there was a laser beam shooting at my chest, I wanted to point somewhere here, specifically for my squat. If you're low bar squatting, again, you're gonna have a bit of a chest angle down. This isn't relevant for a high bar squat because your chest is gonna be more up here somewhere, okay? This is for a low bar squat. If you focus on the end outcome, I want my chest to be laser beam shooting down the floor somewhere there, okay? Your hips are likely automatically going to go back where they need to go on their own without even you thinking about it. So again, focus on the end goal, chest towards the floor. I'm sitting my hips, I'm just thinking of sitting my hips straight down. And the other cue that I'm thinking of is that my hips and knees are breaking at the same time. So if you think of knee joint here, the side of my knee joint, and the side of my hip joint. Oh, I can't get my, yeah. There we go. That was kind of hard to get my arm back. So, hips and knees, same time. Chest towards the floor, hips straight down. Hopefully that made sense. Hopefully it wasn't too confusing. But again, the summary is don't sit your hips back at the start of the squat. It's not very efficient. It's not required because you can still get your end goal of getting your chest to point towards the floor without having to sit your hips back at the start of the squat.